A couple years ago, we broke down the worst WWE Elite action figure from the main Elite line from Series 1 through 50. And then a few weeks back, we finally broke down Elite Series 51 through 100 and talked about the worst figure in each set. And then everybody bombarded me and said, you need to do the best figure in every single WWE Elite main series. So we ran it back and we did WWE Elite Series 1 through 50, and I told you the best figure from all of those waves. And then it was requested to finish the job and go 51 through 100. So in this video today, man, we're going to be breaking down the best WWE Elite action figure from Series 51 through 100 and tell you why it's the best or why I think it is the best figure from those exact sets. And I even went the extra mile for you, and it took hours and hours to do this. But I created graphics that shows the entire Elite line on the left side, and then it shows my pick for the best figure on the right side. So leave a like right now for that extra work so you guys can see the full Elite wave without having to pull up any extra tabs or anything. I'd greatly appreciate it. But let's dive into it, man. Starting out with Elite Series 51. This one wasn't the... I don't know. There was a few nominees for this, but I went with the AJ Styles. I personally like the AJ Styles the most, and you'll probably say, Brad, you used to talk shish all about the AJ Styles figures. And yes, you are correct, but I think that, hot take here, this may be the best Elite AJ Styles, and it is in a black gear, but the silver, the yelling head sculpt, the vest, this is a really cool one. I didn't like the head sculpt on Scott Hall. The Mankind's been re-released. The Berserker has a case. The Berserker does have a case, but I did go with the Elite 51 AJ Styles. For me personally, that's the best figure. In Elite 52, this one was tough because Braun Strowman's trash. Seth Rollins, we've seen re-released. The Kofi and Xavier aren't my favorites from this wave, and then Ken Shamrock has also been re-released. But at the end of the day, I did go with D'Lo Brown, and I know he's been re-released from this wave as well, but you really didn't have a great choice here, so I just went with the best of them all overall, and I went with D'Lo Brown. Elite 53, I went with Heath Slater. I like the Heath Slater figure. I think the rest of the figures are solid. The Big E's not good. The Chris Jericho has been done in a better way. The Miz is Alexa Bliss isn't bad. She is a good figure, but this was before women's figures were at their peak, even though that was a really good women's figure for the time. And then the Kevin Owens was also good, but I gave it to the Heath Slater. I would rather have the Heath Slater out of the rest of the wave. Next up is Elite 54. This one is a decent little wave, man. A decent little wave. Rich Swann is solid. Bray Wyatt's solid. Jey Uso from the set is solid. Not Jimmy, by God, but I went with Cena. I like the khaki pants. I like the Florida Gator gear. I thought it was a really solid figure overall, even though it has the dumb new biceps that they tried to implement that nobody bought. Nobody was buying that shish, but I did go with John Cena personally. Elite 55, a pretty good wave overall, all things considered, but I did go with the king of the cruiserweights, Neville. This was his best Elite. This is a great figure. It looked really good, men on card. Everybody and their mom was looking for this figure at the time because he was the king of the cruiserweights, man. I mean, he was running rampant on WWE television, and this figure is a beast. Elite 56, I kind of cheated right here. This is a fun wave as well, but I did go with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I thought that both of them did suffice, and I really couldn't choose. You know, how can I say that one figure is better than the other? I feel like they're a tag team. You know, I feel like they go together. They both have tattoos. They both have good head sculpts. They both have unique formulas that pose around pretty solid, so I did go with both of Anderson and Gallows. We also have Elite 57 here. I went with Jeff Hardy. No shirt on a Jeff Hardy with the back tattoo and everything considered, man. This was also around the time that he just returned, and my God, man, everybody was running loose for Jeff Hardy figures. Scotty 2 Hotty in this wave is also good, but he had a rubber coat. This wave overall is not bad at all. Elite 58, I went with Dean Ambrose. This is probably the best Dean Ambrose. It's definitely up there. I like the realistic denim. I like the Intercontinental title. The t-shirt, while it's a cool shirt in terms of getting a cloth goods shirt, I didn't like that design, you know, the no good Dean goes whatever the hell. And I don't know, I didn't really like that part of it. And the Matt Hardy from this wave is solid. Sheamus from this wave was solid. Cesaro was also a solid figure, but I did go with Dean Ambrose. I think I'd rather have the Dean Ambrose over the rest of them. We also have Elite 59. We have Kurt Angle. I chose Kurt Angle. Demon Finn Balor has the Daniel Bryan torso. Zack Ryder has the arm stuck out to the side jacket, and I felt like his arms were a little small. American Alpha from this wave was really good as well. Then The Miz had that abysmal head sculpt and jacket. Kurt Angle was the easy pick on this one. Elite 60, Kofi Kingston does win, and this one was pretty close. I thought the Triple H was really good here. The Giant Machine is also good. I picked the Kofi. This is one of my favorite Kofi figures they've ever done. Elite 61 is one of the worst waves ever, man. What a terrible Elite set right here, man. Definitely in one of the worst Elite sets they've ever done in the main line, but I did go with Tyler Breeze. This is easily the best figure in the set. The rest of them don't even compare. This is a great figure. Great accessories, great posability, fantastic Elite. Probably one of the most underrated Elites ever is this Tyler Breeze. Elite 62, hot take here. I'm going with the big dog. I'm going with big dog Roman Reigns. You have a re-release Strowman. You have a Dude Love that probably would win, but we've seen it re-released now. There's no, I think that if you hold it up, I think that the Roman Reigns is above the rest. And I do like the Sting. The Sting is very good, but that rubber jacket and that jacked torso throw me off. And Akam and Razor aren't bad, but I did go with Roman Reigns. I like this version of Roman. I like the vest, the IC title. For the time also, this figure was very good. Elite 63, very, very, very close, because Sami Zayn and Shinsuke are very good in this wave, but Shelton Benjamin is the best figure for me. I would rather have the Shelton over the rest, even though I really like this Sami Zayn and I really like this Shinsuke Nakamura. We have Elite 64. I'm cheating again, man. We're going with the Usos. A pair of Usos. These were so good for the time, man. I remember this like it was yesterday, how sought after these Usos were. I mean, this is right. I mean, we had the Elite 54, but getting a new head sculpt on Jimmy, this was a massive deal back in the day. And this set is one of the best sets of all time. People will tell you. I mean, Mattel was in their bag back in this day. I don't know. There were some very good sets. There were some bad sets as well. We just talked about how Elite 61 was a bad set. This is one of the better all-time sets. Elite 64, every single figure in this set is a banger. And if you picked a figure from this set, I would understand it, but I did go with the Usos. Just too good to deny. Next up is Elite Series 65, and this is another terrible wave in certain aspects, but I did go with Eric Young. Even though I love the Roman in this wave, I love the Aiden English. The figure that really brings this set down as a whole is going to be Ronda Rousey, with just the worst Elite of all time. But Eric Young's best figure. It has so many unique things going on. It's a very cool figure. Elite 66, I did go with Kevin Owens. I thought the AJ was solid from this wave. I do like the Bludgeon Brothers, even though they don't pose around the best. And the Kurt Angle's a decent little figure, but I like the Kevin Owens. This is a really, really good representation of him at the time, especially really good attire, things like that. So I went with Elite 66 KO. Elite 67, another fun wave here. We do have Jeff Hardy as the best figure. I love Cedric. I love Randy. The Rey Mysterio, I know a lot of people are going to say the Rey Mysterio should have won here, but they gave him the gigantic hands, and I don't know. I don't really care for the head sculpt on the Rey Mysterio. It's a reuse of a reuse of a reuse, so I did go with the Jeff Hardy, the camo, the yelling head sculpt. Very cool figure overall, even though I understand if you would pick the Rey Mysterio. I completely agree. I know a lot of people are going to pick Rey Mysterio. I get it. Elite 68 is King Mabel. I know it's crazy, but that figure's a beast, man. Big hunk of plastic, but poses around great. Great crown, stands around looking like a big AF pieces. Great figure. Elite 69, a lot of people would probably argue this is the greatest Elite set of all time. Best main set of all time. People around the nation will tell you this is probably the best main line. I mean, look at it. 3 first time in the line Elites, a really good updated Ciampa, a good updated Miz, Rey Mysterio, Elite 69, not a bad figure. A really good figure. The head sculpt just stinks. But this wave overall had people buzzing. It was a great wave for the time, but I did go with Ciampa. I just thought that the Ciampa stood above the rest in terms of the details. Really good set overall, though. Elite 70, I had to go with the Chase Dolph Ziggler, and I really, it's hard to consider the Chases sometimes. You'll forget about them, but I think that it is the best figure in the set. I love this Chase Ziggler, one of my favorite Mattels of all time, but this wave is also very, very strong. Elite 71, I went with Jeff Hardy again. This is one of my favorite Elites of all time. The Big Show from this set is also nuts, but the Jeff Hardy in pink, you are not competing with this. It also had 3 interchangeable head sculpts. Unbelievable figure for the time. Elite 72, another really fun wave here. I love going down memory lane with these videos because I get to dive into these different sets and stuff like that, and I can remember a lot of these figures off the top of the dome, but seeing them all complete here, Elite 72 is a really strong set as well, besides the abysmal Velveteen Dream, but this figure was pretty good. Elite 72, Buddy Murphy. I love the Roddy Strong, the Rey Mysterio was good, the Becky was good, the Batista was solid as well, but I like the Murphy. The Murphy had some unique things, and he was a beast. Elite 73, I went with Aleister Black. This is such a good figure, and a good wave overall. You can't really go wrong with any of these figures, but the tattoo details, the really good head sculpt, the spike kick pad, I think Aleister Black's the best figure, even though they always made him too damn small. Next up is Elite 74, and I went with Finn Balor. I love this figure. So good. Such a good representation of Finn Balor. Cien Almas is good as well. Natalya, really good underrated figure from this set as well. Very good overall set, but I like the Finn Balor the best. I love this gear. I think this is when he took on Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Great jacket, everything considered, great attire, great head sculpt. Really good Finn Balor. Elite 75, I went with the Hurricane, and this set's not bad. I almost went with Pete Dunne, but I think the Hurricane, I remember being hella shocked that we got an Elite Hurricane, especially with the cloth cape and everything. I like this figure a lot. The Jeff Hardy from the set was abysmal, though, with the head sculpt. Elite 76, I went with Christian, and I know there's probably some different takes here. Otis was solid. There's some good stuff here, but Christian had those unique arm sculpts and stuff. This Brood Christian was really cool. Elite 77 is the Fiend. The Fiend is easily the best one here. Miss Elizabeth isn't bad, but everything else in this set is just not good. I do not like the rest of this set. I thought that it could have been a lot better. The Fiend figure, though, is very good, and it's the best figure. We have Elite 78. I went with R-Truth. The Naomi in this set is very good, and the Matt Riddle, if it didn't have that kind of weird-looking head sculpt, and then they gave him Kalisto arms, brother. They gave him Kalisto arms. Why would they give him Kalisto arms? Crazy take, but I went with R-Truth. That 24/7 title, really good representation of R-Truth, and probably the best R-Truth they've made until the most recent Elite 115 we're getting in just a couple months. Couple weeks, probably, actually. Elite 79 is Io Shirai, a fantastic figure. A fantastic figure overall. This set's not the best of all time here, but this Io can compete with the best women's figures that Mattel's ever done. Elite 80, I went with Kyle O'Reilly. It has the War Games camo gear. We have a lot of good stuff here. Great head sculpt. Probably the best Kyle O'Reilly they've ever made. It's just a really good representation of the character, and this set's not the worst you've ever seen. It did have Johnny Gargano syndrome on the Eric figure, but we're not here to discuss the set. It's more about the figure overall, but I know you'll be looking at the figures on the other side, so I do want to discuss them a little bit here as we go through. Elite 81 is Bianca Belair, man. Bianca Belair is the best figure in this set out of a turd of a set. Out of a turd of a set, probably my least favorite set they've ever done overall. I do think that the Bianca Belair is the best. Elite 82, I went with Finn Balor. I mean, you had to know, right? You had to know. If they make one of my favorite guys in a really good way, and the Jerry Lawler is really good in this set. I think the Alexa Bliss is solid. Keith Lee's not bad, even though it had a spinneroonie thigh. His thigh would get loose. Every single one of them was loose. You remember when they were putting that damn certified authentic gigantic sticker on there? Do they still do that? If they do, I don't notice it as much, but that giant one right there in the front of the pack is crazy. Elite 83 is Edge, and this was, I think there was supposed to be another Velveteen Dream in this wave, but they ended up, the figure got canceled or removed or whatever the case was, so he did not appear here. I think he was supposed to be in Elite 83, and then they pulled it, so there was only 5 figures in this set, but Edge is definitely the best figure in this set, even though they gave him a Daniel Bryan torso. Elite 84 is Jeff Hardy. Really decent wave here, man. Really decent wave. If Murphy didn't have on that Disciple gear, this would have been a really, really star-studded set. It's still a good set. You have first-time Angel Garza. You have a good Roman, you have a good Sheamus, you have a good Jeff, a first-time Rhea in Elite form. She did have a basic before this, but as an Elite, it's a really good one, but this Jeff Hardy is great, man. You're talking about an updated Hardy with the back tattoos, face paint, really good. Elite 85, I went with Aleister Black, and a really underrated figure from the set that nobody talks about is the Bray Wyatt. A really, really underrated figure is that Bray Wyatt. Definitely one of the most underrated figures of all time is that Bray Wyatt. I'm telling you, I need to do the most underrated WWE Elites of all time. That needs to be a video, but this Aleister Black is a beast. We also have Seth Rollins in Elite 86. I know a lot of people say The Fiend and things like that, but this Seth Rollins was so good for the time, man. Everybody was losing their minds. This is before the updated formula. You have a good Miz. The Sid Justice is it. This set overall is not the worst you've ever seen, but re-release Fiend, I can't give it to him. Things like that. And a lot of them are repaints for the most part. But this Seth Rollins, I gave the nod to. I think I own 9 of these. I need help. We have Elite 87, and there's some good figures here. But I went with the Chase Apollo Crews. That white and gold, and this is right around the time they started implementing more double jointed arms into the entire line, and this Apollo Crews was beastly, son. Look at that beast right there. There's so much good going on with this Apollo Crews. Need to put him on surgery, by God. We also have Elite 88. I went with Matt Riddle. A really solid wave besides Trish Stratus over there. Roman was solid. Kushida was solid. MVP returning to the line here. Rey Mysterio was I didn't really care for that because he had the eye patch, but that Matt Riddle was beastly. You get the hat, the shirt, the orange gear, the slides. Really fun figure here. I went with Matt Riddle. Elite 89 is Damian Priest. The man bats 1,000. Man's never had a bat figure. And it all started with this Elite 89 beastly Damian Priest. Elite 90, I went with Bronson Reed. Just a stud muffin of a figure. Bam Bam Bigelow gear. Beastly jacket. An absurd wave. The whole wave is overall fantastic, but this guy is the best one, I think. Randy Orton almost got the nod, but I did give it to Bronson. All things considered, try to remove all my biases and try to give you the best cut here. Elite 91 is RVD. It's not close here. I think that this is a really good wave overall, but Elite 91 RVD, one of my favorite WWE Elites of all time, is this RVD, Tiger Stripes, undefeated. Elite 92 is War Games Chase Edition Elite Adam Cole. Fantastic head sculpt, fantastic gear, and the rest of this wave is absolute buns, so we did go with Adam Cole for Elite 92. Elite 93, I went with Seth Rollins. I almost went with a couple other things, but I couldn't convince myself. I think this is a really good representation of this version of Seth Rollins, even though he had a rubber coat. You could pose the coat, but We ain't buying that. Throw that code out in the trash. Elite 94 is Edge, and I almost gave it to Bret Hart because it's probably the best Bret Hart head sculpt they've made. There are some solid additions here, but Elite 94 is Edge. I just love the white gear too much. I like the gritty head sculpt, even though he has that damn straight jacket, never move your arms again jacket on. I went with Edge anyway. Elite 95 is Shotzi, man. This figure is unbelievable. One of the better women's figures that Mattel's ever made. So much tattoo deco, great head sculpt, just a ridiculous figure overall. And this set is pretty fun. You know, we're getting into the era where every figure has double jointed arms at this point, and it was a solid wave, but Shotzi is the best. It's just, it stands out on a shelf. Elite 96, I went with Shinsuke Nakamura. Hulk Hogan's good, but it's pretty much a repaint of, or a re-release pretty much of so many different Hulk Hogan figures we've already seen, and this Shinsuke is probably his, it could be his best Elite. He's definitely up there with the best ones. I like the white gear. I like the armbands, and the jacket was really cool as well. It's kind of your King Shinsuke. We have our Sheamus from Elite 97. You probably didn't see this one coming. I really like this Sheamus. Probably the best Sheamus they've ever done. The face mask and the hat, the entrance coat, the black gear is menacing for this heel Sheamus, and then that pissed off head sculpt that I think was used in Elite 84. It may be a redo of that figure. It may be slightly upgraded, but this is a really, really good Sheamus. Omos almost got the cut there, but they have redone him in some other waves here, so I did give the nod to Sheamus. Elite 98, and I really wish that I could do every single set this way. You can see like a zoomed in shot of every figure, but I didn't have that for every wave, so I just went with the way I did it, you know, so I do apologize. But the Rick Boogs, or whatever you want to say, is the best figure. I think that the Demon Finn Balor would have won, but they decided to give him Daniel Bryan legs and absolutely shattered my universe. So we did go with Rick Boogs, or Boogie Woogie Soogie Dob. Elite 99 is Farmer Brock Lesnar. This set is really fun. I think there's so many good figures here. I love the scooter with the riddle. You have the, you know, the down on his luck Corbin, which was a really underrated figure. I have to do the most underrated figures now. Now that I have gotten it out of my brain. You know, Boogeyman, really good figure, even though it's a re-release. This Brock is the best. I think it won Figure of the Year for me in that year. I think it was, what, 2022 possibly? This figure is a beast. And then Elite 100 is Andre the Giant. And this is definitely, if I ever had to count down the biggest disappointments I've ever had or felt in a Mattel WWE history, Elite 100 would probably be in the top 3. This set overall hella disappointed me. And I know you can't ever live up to every expectation, but this set overall just did not live up to expectations. I was completely underwhelmed with everything here, and I guess it was my fault for having like such a high expectation, but this wave overall just wasn't it, man. It wasn't it. It just wasn't good. Wasn't good stuff, and you know what? I've learned from that. Don't have any expectations, and you can't be let down, right? In all seriousness though, this is the best figure. The Elite 100 Andre is easily the best. So really cool. Nobody expected Andre in a suit, and then the rest of the wave was kind of bleh. Like, there's some good things about the set here and there, but definitely not the best ever, and all those different things, man. But that is every best WWE Elite from Series 51 through 100. Had a lot of fun counting these down. It was, again, please leave a like on the video, man, because it took so long to gather these and create these images. It took hours. It took hours to do so, and it probably shouldn't have taken me that long, but sorting it and downloading it and sending it to myself and then creating the graphics and saving them from the internet and putting them together, it was the only way to do so that I wouldn't run out of storage. So I appreciate you guys for it. Leave me a like down below. A huge shout out to our Patreon members, man. That was every single WWE Elite, or the best WWE Elite from every single set from Elite Series 51 through 100. And I guess one day we'll do 100 through 150, but at this point we're only at Elite 114. So, we got a while. So it's kind of crazy. Very, very crazy. Feels like Elite 100 was yesterday, and we're already up to Elite 114. But nonetheless, man, I'm getting the hell out. Hope you guys did enjoy. Leave me your thoughts down below. I'll see you guys next time. If you disagreed, let me know. If you agreed, let me know. But anyways, I'm getting the hell out. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you guys later.